You know, I'm not caught up with Game of Thrones. I was watching it at first, but then it got really popular. And I'm not one of these people who runs away from popular things just because I don't want to be seen as part of the herd, because I acknowledge that I generally like things that are liked by a lot of other people, but I can't like those things at the same time. I have to swoop in later when other people have forgotten about it, because I don't like being part of the lively, real-time discussion simply because other people's opinions annoy the shit out of me. And I'm about to show you why. As I said in the beginning of this video, which was probably only about 40 seconds ago, so if you don't remember, you're retarded, but just to recap, Game of Thrones, I haven't been keeping up. However, something happened on Game of Thrones that was apparently such a big deal that the idiots of the internet took to Twitter to complain about it, and they complained so hard that the mainstream media started listening to them, because that's how it works. If you throw a big enough tantrum about something, no matter how trivial it is, the mainstream media will say, well, what's really going on here? Is this a way to advance these fucking issues? No, this is a way to exploit a bunch of idiots' outrage so that you can get clicks on your articles and traffic to your advertisements. By the way, check out my ads. Awesome. I thought I'd seen everything watching Game of Thrones until the male twin started raping his female twin on their dead son's body. Well, just when you thought incest was bad, Game of Thrones. Brother and sister doing the horizontal jiggliness next to their dead son's body, Game of Thrones hits a new low in non-family viewing. Really? Are you fucking sure? Because I thought Game of Thrones was like Captain fucking Kangaroo. You just sit the kids in front of it and fucking go make some macaroni or something. I mean, I guess I was mistaken. Good thing I don't have kids, because apparently I'd be raising them fucked up. Rape is one thing. Raping your sister is another. Raping her next to the corpse of your incestuous son, only in Westeros. Game of Thrones. So Jaime goes on a path to redemption and does that? Character development? What the fuck is that? Game of Thrones. Jaime rapes sister Cersei Lannister beside her son's dead body? Epic fail. Game of Thrones. That Jaime Cersei scene was so disturbing I want to punch things! Question marks? Even though that's not a question? Why is shock factor so important to you, HBO? Game of Thrones. Actually, hers is just GOT. And so on, and so forth, and So first question, why weren't people taking to Twitter in outrage the first time they realized that these two were brother and sister who were hooking up? Why wasn't that a big deal? Oh wait, it's because it's a TV show and it's fictional. What about the fact that shortly after you discover that they're incestuous lovers, Jaime pushes a young child out of a window intending to kill him? I mean, I didn't see anyone necessarily like, oh my god, this show encourages people to throw children out of buildings. Oh god, why? I'm told by my brother Scotty that in a recent episode there was a slave revolt wherein the slaves rose up and brutally killed the owners, which I don't necessarily object to, but why aren't people objecting to that? Like, oh, that's such a horrible depiction of violence. That does this show encourage me to grab a sword and butcher people? Does it encourage me to crucify people? Dude gets his fucking dick chopped off. Don't see anyone complaining about that. Although, if it had been female genital mutilation, there probably would have been people complaining. But, you know, double standard, whatever. It's fine, even though it's not. You see, it's just funny to me, because if you're going to take issue with some part of a fictional story, then shouldn't you take issues with all of the problematic stuff depicted? I mean, it seems to me like either you object to that sort of thing being seen at all, or you don't. I happen to be in the don't category. I think that when it comes to fiction, when it comes to storytelling, everything should be allowed. But I mean, if you're one of these people who thinks like, oh no, you can't show certain things, then it should be everything, right? It should be, you shouldn't be able to show murder like you can show in like PG fucking 13 movies. I mean, isn't that strange? You can, like, a character in a PG-13 movie can just walk into a room and waste a bunch of people as long as there's not too much blood and guts. But, you know, like, I'm just gonna kill now. I'm just killing, ending human lives, destroying entire consciousnesses. And people are like, that seems suitable for kids. But, you know, if there's a sexual scene or a scene of sexual violence, then it's like, oh no, if people see this, that's gonna push the wrong buttons. That's gonna rile the wrong nerves. Maybe we're gonna create these sex perverts who are just gonna watch this Game of Thrones scene, and then they're gonna start prowling the night, looking for people to reenact it with. I mean, how many people do you know that approve of wanton violence, draconian punishments, and a strict caste system in which a small group of people control all of the country's land and resources? Besides you Republicans. But according to idiots on Twitter, that's all fine, just as long as no one gets raped. That's the one thing you can't depict in any sort of fashion. Oh, except if you depict it in season 1 happening to women who are Lazarine, not an actual race, but they happen to be a dark-skinned people who live in, you know, a peaceful sheep-herding society. I didn't see people taking to Twitter about that. Like, can you believe that all those women were raped on Game of Thrones? No. They only start complaining once it happened to the beautiful White Queen. Even though the earlier cases of rape were explicit and the more current one is a little bit more ambiguous. You can have explicit rape of dark-skinned women and Twitter is mum. You have an ambiguous rape of a white woman and Twitter is fucking pissed off. How strange is that? I'm the Amazing Atheist, once again disgusted by the small-mindedness and stupidity of my species. Peace the fuck out. Do you like offensive t-shirts? Well, nothing is more offensive to America than logic. Buy the Logic shirt down below. If you don't like the Logic shirt, we also got other shirts. Or have other shirts. Doesn't matter. They're down below. Why are you still even watching this?